Hey everybody, this is Carl Sheffield. I'm a product manager at Skuid. I work on the user success and evangelism team. And in this video, I'm going to show another way to use UI-only models. Now keep in mind that a UI-only model or a UI-only field exists only in the user interface. So the data is not exactly stored anywhere except in the runtime page. This is super convenient. And it can be used in lots of different ways. So this example we're going to look through is creating a UI-only model to store selected data from selected accounts from an actual model that uses a data source that has data stored elsewhere, not just in the page runtime. So let's get started. I'm going to start at Skuid Central. And the first thing I'm going to do is float over this compose and go to all pages. And I'm going to show you a finished version of the page that we're going to be working on. Now, as we go to preview, we can see there's a selected accounts table here. This is the one that sources our UI-only model that we'll build. And there's a row action on the account list table below. And so when I click the row, an action occurs to adopt this row into this UI-only model and displayed on the table component. And then this will work in conjunction with our column summaries to help a good visual idea here. So that's how it works. Let's get in and start building. What I'm going to do is close this whole thing. Now we're back into the page list. And I'm going to start by cloning a page that I labeled start so that we can quickly get going, not from scratch, but pretty close. Once I clone this page, I'm going to give it a name like build 01. That's good for our example. I'll click create clone page and then open the clone page. All right. So this example is going to be grabbing certain fields from the account list model, and it's going to be putting the data from those selected rows into the UI-only model that we'll build. So let's pay close attention to these fields. It's very important for us to name the field IDs well, so that we don't have any issues as we get into the adopt rows action that we'll put on the row for the account list 01 table that we're displaying. Let's start by creating a model, and I'll just click the add model button here, and then I'll give this a very unique name, UIO underscore selected accounts. Now my data source type is going to be changed to UI only, and I'm going to pay special attention to uncheck create default row if model has none. That's going to be perfect for our exercise. In other uses, we may choose to have that checked, but this is great for now. Now that we have our UI only model created, let's add some UI only fields. I'm going to quickly just add 5 fields here by clicking add field. Now that we have our container fields, we'll configure these. I'm going to use a cheat sheet that I made to make sure I get the names and the values just right, and make sure that the UI only fields are set up with the right field ID and the right label and the right display type. So we'll start with the first field. We'll give that an ID of ID. We'll call the label count ID, and then the display can be text here. And we'll change that length to 25. The next field is going to be the name field. Type name here. Be very careful about spelling. And then for the label, count name will be a good label here. Display type will be text, and we'll set that to a length of 100. The next field in our list is going to be annual revenue. And I'll use revenue as my label. This display type is going to be currency, and we'll take the default length and decimal places. Next field is going to be number of employees. Be very careful to spell correctly because I want the field IDs to match. Now, I'll use the label of employees here. And my display type will be a number this time. And I'll change the decimal places to 0. And the next field, we'll call this revenue by employee. And I'm just going to be a bit lazy, copy and paste the same field ID and use that for the label. This is also going to be a currency field, display type, and we'll set those defaults. Now that I have my UI only model created and the UI only fields created, what we want to do is quickly add a table component to hold that data. I'm going to double click the model, and then that gives me the create component pop-up, and I'll pick table and then create component. I am going to name that or give that a title of selected accounts. Save my work. I'm going to move the selected accounts table up on top of the accounts table. To find my drop zone, you'll notice that the first time I tried it, I didn't get the right drop zone. So it went back, but I got that done. Let's click save here and then go to our last thing where we need to add data. And the way we want to add data to the UI only selected accounts model is to adopt rows from the account list. Before we add data, let's go ahead and add those column summaries. I'm going to click annual revenue, and I'm going to click the column summaries button and pick sum. I'll click it again and pick average. Do the same thing for employees, and I'll finish up with revenue by employee. Revenue by employee. I notice that's different. Let's go back and double check this. I don't want to use revenue by employee. I want to use revenue per employee because that is the field name that exists in the source that we're going to use. So when I do that, my field turns into an unknown field here. That's okay. I'll just delete that and then go add it the way we've added fields before. Now I've got revenue per employee, and I'm going to set some column summaries here as well. All right, now that this table component is set up correctly and it's looking like I have the right data fields set, the next thing I'm going to do is add a row action to our account list table. I'm going to click the plus here. I'm going to give my row action label a good descriptive label. Add to selected accounts. That's pretty good. I'm going to pick another icon. I'm going to pick this one here. Now I'm going to go to my Actions tab and create an action. The default action type for a new action is Save Model Changes. Let's click on that line and then go to the Action Type property and find Adopt Rows into Model. Now that we select this, our model properties or our table action properties change, and we're going to set the source model to account list. We're going to set the target model to selected accounts. Now that that's selected, let's click Save, and we'll preview and see if we need to change anything or if we've got everything set up just right. I'll click Preview. Now it looks like we've got our empty table, waiting to have rows adopted into that table with the row action on this account list table. Let's click the Dickinson Place row. Okay, we see that our row is added to the selected accounts table. That's good. Let's click 2 or 3 more and then take a look at our column summaries. Looks pretty good to me. This is just one example of how to use a UI-only model in your page. There are so many possibilities for this. The ability that you have using Skuid with UI-only models, UI-only fields, and the actions framework, the potential is vast. Okay, that's it for this video. Look forward to seeing you in other videos in the Skuid Basics series. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.